Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, We appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching us live, thank you for that. If you're watching us later, thanks for that as well. We do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there as well for you to check out at your leisure if you don't have time to watch us live. Traffic this morning, tough this morning. You're looking at backup starting at Millerville all the way to Jubin Road. Heavy delays. It's going to be a tough commute into Baton Rouge this morning. That's, of course, causing delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 in Denham Springs. And you're looking at delays at Jubin Road and 190 as well as folks try to decide, am I gonna risk the interstate or am I not? You're also looking at delays on 64 heading into Central, as well as heavy delays on Greenville Springs if you take a left there off of 64. It's currently 59 degrees, 64 degrees is your high, 53 degrees your overnight low. You're looking at one last cold spell. It's going to get a little cold over the next couple of days for about a week. Heading into that Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras Tuesday coming up in about a week. Of course, 6 days from now. But you are looking at some cold weather coming through. A missing French settlement woman, Miss Brandy Maisonneville, I think I got that right. She is missing, and the sheriff's office is asking for your help. You can call 225-686-2241, extension 1 to deliver a tip. Her picture is on our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/breaking news. Again, that is Miss Brandy Maisonneville from French Settlement. The sheriff's office is looking for tips, 225-686-2241, extension 1. Please call if you have any information. Senator Bill, I was trying to decide how to say this. Senator Dr. Bill Cassidy, Senator Bill Cassidy will be in Livingston Parish today at 10:30 a.m. announcing his bid for re-election for the United States Senate. It will be at Rouse's at Jubin Crossing. Again, that's at about 10:30 a.m., so keep an eye on our Facebook page for that. Yesterday, the Chamber hosted a breakfast for local business owners and a large contingent of the Leadership Livingston class of this year to sit down with the Director of Lobby, or that's Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, CEO, Director Stephen Wagasback, and listen to him talk about a lot of things that Lobby is doing, especially with the legislative session coming up here in just a few weeks. Lobby spent quite a bit of money on this election cycle, trying to cycle out some seats there in the House and the Senate. Turned over about 15 in the Senate and almost 40 in the House. So rather productive election cycle for Lobby. Right now, his big focus was on lawsuits and trying to reduce car insurance rates. They're currently double what the national average is, and we are competing, we being Louisiana, competing for 50th in car insurance, rates and total payments. Right now, the average payment per car, per household is $4,000 a year. So, which is, roughly anywhere from $300 to $400 a month. So looking to get that reduced, and the way to attack that, there's a large sort of multi-layered bill that's currently in the House that he's hoping will get passed this year, to help reduce those premiums by changing the way that lawsuits work following a fender bender. Currently, you cannot have, there's what's called a jury trial threshold, and that's at $50,000. So what, ends up happening is these fines get set at about $45,000. You can't get a jury trial. You have a gag order set on you. And eventually these insurance companies just have to settle and keep pushing out checks. So what he said is, part of that is going to be reducing the jury trial threshold. And Maryland is the next highest at $15,000 as opposed to $50,000. Most 36 states are at $0. So if you want a jury, you can ask for a jury. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do in the legislature. One thing that he did say is he asked for citizens to support their legislators and tell them what they're really after, give them a chance to be bold, because when they enter that capital, they kind of get processed into the machine, and the machine is constant. The machine is always hitting them up always asking them to do certain things, the machine being lobbyists and things like that. Of course, the interesting thing about that is very few people in Louisiana spend as much money on lobbying as Lobby. They are one of the top, but there are some others as well, healthcare being one. So, there's a lot of people coming at these legislators when they go up there for a lot of different reasons. It's good to keep your voice heard. Talk to your legislators, call them, tell them what you're after. Car insurance that's going to be a huge change, because one of the things we see it all the time. Look at the lawyer advertisements, especially their billboards and things like that. That would change a lot of that dramatically here in Louisiana. So he's hoping for a lot of big, he even used the word revolutionary change at the legislature this year. So we're going to see what happens. That'll be coming up in just a few weeks. Excuse me. I am sorry, folks. I thought I was getting there, but I'm still struggling. Dim Springs boys soccer has finally busted through to the semifinals after 3 straight appearances in the quarterfinals with a 2-1 road win over Captain Shreve in Shreveport, Louisiana. They had to travel. Captain Shreve won their game as the high seed, so ended up securing a home playoff game, getting the lower seed to come to them. But Denham emerged victorious 2-1, and they will host Catholic Saturday at 3:30 p.m. for a chance to go to the Division I state championship. So again, Dim Springs hosting Catholic semifinal game Saturday 3:30 p.m. at Dim Springs High School. Big game for the Yellow Jackets, trying to make it to that state championship. Holden and Maurepas girls basketball are going to open up the Class B playoffs against each other. It's a good thing if you want to read about it. Mr. Rob DeArmond wrote a feature talking about how both teams are coming together for Mr. Nathan Raymond, who, as you know, over the weekend passed away. The door for the game, all proceeds are going towards Nathan Raymond and his family and remembering Nathan. And it's good for 2 schools like that, 2 local schools, to be able to come together in a moment of grief, in a time of grief, for remembrance and, to celebrate with a game of basketball. So Mr. Rob DeHarmon's going to be on hand for that. Please remember that game is coming up Thursday, and that all proceeds at the door will go towards Mr. Nathan Raymond, his family, and his afterlife celebration. Walker's picking up steam. The boys defeated Denham Springs 81-51. Had a couple of skids in district play, and they're now looking to try to bounce back and get back, on their winning ways. They're currently unofficially ranked at number 10. One last game coming up Friday against Zachary. It's going to be a big game for them, trying to make sure they can secure a couple of home playoff games before they have to travel. Swearingen-Durham, who is a 2011 Dim Springs graduate and has a ultimate name, visited Dim Springs Junior High this week. He has a series of books coming out called the Bardenwood series, and he wanted to come back and talk to kids about, if you feel like writing, if you feel like doing anything, just give it a shot, shoot your shot, take a risk. And he wanted to, as he told David Gray, who interviewed him in between sessions of talking to these kids, you just never know. You never know when your chance might be for any given thing, but if you don't give it a shot, you'll definitely never know. And he was saying that, I might inspire the next writer right here at Dim Springs Junior High. 5 years from now, they could graduate, and 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they could be writing the next big series of books. So thank you, Mr. Durham, for coming back locally and spreading the good word. Give it a shot, take a risk. Lytton Tech Center had their career day just a few weeks ago. It's always a big success. A lot of companies come, a lot of groups come and sort of present what they do and let these kids from high schools who come through kind of know, a lot of times these kids will get an idea of, if I work here, this is what you have to do. And it's not necessarily true. I mean, the newspaper has a booth every year and we talk about it every year. No, you don't have to be a writer. You could be a graphics designer. You could be a videographer. You could be a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things that go into running a newspaper, and an online newspaper at that. But, it's an interesting time for these kids to learn that there's a lot more to working in some places than just that specific thing that you believe they're all about. So it's a great event there at the Lytton Tech Center. You can read about it, www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. Last piece as sort of a surprise, just about 2 days after Lane Hardy had performed at the bar, he has a very close connection with Mr. David Gaines of Livingston. And Mr. Gaines announced on Monday that he was going to shut down Crazy Dave's in Livingston. You've probably heard of it. They were huge supporters of Lane Hardy during that time. Lane is very close to Mr. David. He's performed there several times. Mr. David actually has a lot of close connections with a lot of local bands. And just all sorts of fun goes down at Crazy Dave's, but he had some sort of disagreement with his landlord over parking space and interior renovations and remodeling. And so he eventually decided to give that fight up. 2 days after having, Lane Hardy come perform there in the bar, he's decided to shut it down after 8 years. He opened in 2012. So, thank you, Mr. Gaines, for the memories. He went through his Facebook post, which you can go read on our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. He wanted to thank everybody who had patroned his bar and who had come through and the friendships he developed. And all the bands who came to play. He said he'll miss it, but sometimes the time is there. So again, Crazy Dave's is shutting down after 8 years. It was south of the town of Livingston. Kind of became a staple down there, a daiquiri bar that had karaoke bands, that kind of thing. Again, you're looking at heavy delays. Millerville backed up to Juban. Of course, those are due to accidents. Please, keep that in mind. There are delays on 190 in Juban as folks try to decide, well, which way am I going to go? That's causing delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 in Denham Springs. You're looking at minor delays on 64 heading into Central, as well as delays on Greenville Springs. There it is. Sorry, folks. Heavy delays on Greenville Springs if you take a left there. It's 57 degrees, 64 degrees is your high, 53 degrees your overnight low, so it is going to get chilly again. It's going to get cold over the next couple of days. We're going to have a little cold snap here again, rolling into Fat Tuesday. Mardi Gras Tuesday is 6 days from now, so please keep that in mind as well. Kids are going to be out of school next Monday and Tuesday. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Please remember you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We also post these shows online, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast, so you can check them out later. If you're out of town for a week and you don't want to watch me live because you're sleeping in, of course, you can always catch back up either when you come back or later on in the day. Also, of course, we are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app to go with that. We also have a print edition once a week on Thursdays. Please remember, keep an eye out on our Facebook page for Mr. Bill Cassidy's re-election bid at Juban Crossing. He'll be at Rouse's at 10:30. And otherwise, we hope you stay dry today. Please try to stay warm, and we will check you out in the booth tomorrow.